Welcome to the webinar. My name is Hana Sediva, and I'm a senior sales executive at LS Retail. I look after customers and LS Retail partners in the UK. And with me here is Gabrielle as well. Hello, Gabrielle. So we'll get to you in just a little moment. But yes, okay, let's do that. So in this webinar, we will look at major forces that are impacting retailers in today's COVID-19 world. We will look at different aspects of the future evolution of retail. But with this in mind, we don't claim that these predictions are to be exhaustive. Rather, they represent a selection of our learnings that are aimed to stimulate further thinking and actions of you retailers to achieve post-COVID success. So finally, it is my pleasure to introduce you all to a special guest in this webinar, a senior advisor and LS Retail's board member, Gabrielle Hase. Gabrielle has worked with many of the UK's leading retailers, such as LK Bennett, Arcadia, welcome. I believe you guys are in the meeting, and also Sweaty Betty on building their e-commerce presence, both at home and abroad. So there is no doubt that even though we've been experiencing an unstoppable technological progress, COVID-19 has exacerbated the accelerating pace of technological disruption in the last 6 months. In fact, the COVID-19 crisis has forced retailers to transform at a speed hardly seen before in the industry. And perhaps since it has not happened since the 1990s, when the internet changed the world probably more than any other factor. In just a few months' time, contactless shopping and payments have become mainstream. E-commerce has become a key driver of revenue to many retailers, and new sanitation rules and protocols are now part of daily routines. We should be aware that even once the pandemic subsides, we can expect the majority of the changes that occurred in the past few months to last and speed up the technological transformation. According to John Arlich, who's a business writer and who specializes on branding, lockdown has changed our attitudes to how we shop and what we wear. So, what is the future of the $1.5 trillion global fashion industry? Not only have shops and factories closed, but the way we work, travel, and consequently shop has been upended, prompting a dramatic reset in our attitudes to consumerism. Globally, the fashion industry will contract by 27 to 30% in 2020, says analyst firm McKinsey. This is 5 times worse than the impact of the 2007-2008 global financial crisis. Furthermore, the British Fashion Council predicts that 1/3 of the names on the London Fashion Week schedule may never recover. So the question is, will shoppers want to shop on the high street and shopping centers again? John Arlich believes so. However, shoppers will go back only if the price is right and you can drive there. By contrast, central London boutiques that require a tube journey for shoppers to reach them may not experience the same. According to one of such boutiques, even though they are offering 40% off sales, they are lucky if they get 25 customers a day. According to Arlich, Britons apparently are the slowest consumers in Europe to get back to shops. And this is largely because of fears of overtaking public transport. So it's very interesting, some of these perspectives. Now, to help retailers navigate through these changes, I would like to invite Gabrielle to introduce you to the Retail Pandemic Playbook that she published and to share with us the reasons behind her writing it. So over to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Hana. Thanks so much for inviting me to be a part of the webinar today. and to address everyone. And I know it's a mix of brands and retailers as well as service providers. And what my colleague Caroline Cartellieri and I thought about, we both have a lot of experience in e-commerce and in offline retail. And in different aspects of the retail business model, we took a view mid lockdown to say, obviously, retail has changed forever, but what can we do now? What are some of the things that we can do to really help ensure that we see that we can get through this? And what are the steps we can take to ensure post-COVID success? So I'll just whiz you through a couple of these things. And as Hana just mentioned, the headlines are dire. They're absolutely awful. The retail apocalypse is most certainly upon us. This is worse than anything I've ever lived through. And what it can really consume you. But what we have to do is look for the silver linings, really try to regroup and understand where our business model is fit for purpose and where it really needs to be changed. And then say, okay, we've got to do those things this moment. What do we need to do today? Let's really break it down into small bite-sized chunks that we can do that makes us feel like we've got some momentum that we can get through this. So just some quick trends that we've seen that I'm sure you've seen as well, both within your own businesses as well as the businesses of your customers. So if you are a B2B customer, and I know many of you are on the call today are B2B, this is important for you to think about how your customers are facing what they're dealing with, as well as you as a business itself, because these trends are applying to the business-to-business sector also. First is that customers are changing, whether they're business customers or consumers of retail goods and services. People very much more want a human connection with brands than they ever did before. And now safety is very important. And who would have thought a year ago that safety is necessarily a key thing that consumers are looking out for? And today it's very, very high on everyone's list of concerns. Values, being driven by values, again, is ranking quite highly. Trends are accelerating. We've seen not only with the fact that more people are buying online now than ever before in a really dramatic way, and I don't think that will change. We've hit peak stuff. So how do you deal with channels changing as well as consumer demand is dropping? It goes back to the tried and true, creating a product experience that is truly unique. It's never been more important. Flexibility is a key area that we've got to, it's a key defining virtue that we've got to have. So, and this is not only in a business model, it's the ability to pivot where, you know, one of your distribution channels is all of a sudden cut off overnight. How do you reconnect with your consumer and get your goods and services to them in new and novel ways? But it's also about looking at your employees and making sure that they can pivot. They have skills that can be repurposed to meet the new needs. And then finally, robust tech is table stakes. You've got that is the foundation for any kind of building blocks, not only strategic, but being able to trade through the next few months. These infrastructure solutions really need to consider the entire user journey and tie everything together. Go into the first of these key success factors, which is agility. And that agile, obviously quite an overused word, particularly in software development methodology and then how consumers approach life. But it's really true. And you think about agility, you've got to be flexible and quick when thinking about your supply chains. And we've seen how that has been impacted, where hub and spoke might not work so well anymore. And then warehouses, all of a sudden you need to do a lot more fulfillment with less people in a particular space when you consider social distancing. Well, what does that need to look like? And then also thinking about your store estate, whether this is for retail sales or hotels or venues, think about the physical store estate that you've got and how those leases need to be more flexible and sometimes look a bit more creative.
Thanks, Gabrielle. So I'd like to introduce maybe a couple of customer stories that showcase agility. And I have a couple of logos here. So the first one is H+H. They are a market-leading manufacturer of silicon blocks that is used for modern homes building, for hospitals, schools, offices. They have 28 factories in 8 countries across Europe. And in March this year, together with Microsoft's and LS Retail's partner, the NAV people, H+H launched a project to standardize business processes across its business. And that is to support the consistent software platform. So in doing so, H+H wanted to stop reinventing the same wheel in each country. They wanted to improve efficiency and make it easier to integrate new acquisitions. When COVID-19 hit, H+H could have chosen to pause the project, to come back to it at a later date. But instead, they decided to use the specification phase of the project to prove that it would be possible to build and deploy the solution without the international travel and face-to-face meetings that would typically be associated with such a process. So H+H aligned their internal teams from across many countries and disciplines, established a commitment to the concept of a standard solution, and secured agreement of the details of their requirements. With the NAV people who supported this project using their day in a life process to guide discussion towards the out-of-the-box process that Dynamics 365 Business Central enables. So this reduced their need for customizations, it reduced deployment costs, but also it minimized future maintenance costs. I have a quote from Brian Svaiso, the CIO of H+H, who said, H+H has been doubling its business over the past 5 years, and this growth path is set to continue. We knew that we needed to do something to improve the scalability of our business model and had decided that we wanted to set a standard business processes backed up by a shared ERP platform. When Corona came, we could either postpone the project or move it forward, learning to work in new ways. So in some ways, we have found that this new way of working provides improved opportunities to bring specialists to the table without having to fly people in. Now, the second customer story I have here is the other logo. It's Hobbycraft. Hobbycraft is the largest arts and crafts retailer in the UK. They have over 30,000 products for 250 inspirational activities and hundreds of exciting ideas. Hobbycraft is the go-to place to find everything you need to get crafty. Together with LS Retail's partner K3, Hobbycraft implemented a joint app solution that works across the various head office functions, the distribution center, the stores, and also their website. Furthermore, as reported in the Retail Gazette on the 3rd of August, Hobbycraft has recorded a 200% surge in online sales since COVID-19 pandemic struck the UK. In-store, like-for-like sales rose 4.7% year-on-year, while e-commerce sales grew by 19% during the period, thanks to investments and also its click and collect service. Hobbycraft opened 5 new stores over the year, bringing its total estate to 99. The retailer has been focusing on its online service since stores were forced to temporarily close in late March due to the coronavirus lockdown. They've been offering daily Kids Crafts Club classes on their social media channels, with their digital classes reaching more than 15 million customers. Therefore, they also plan to continue offering such demos and workshops online in order to reach a wider audience, as some customers will just choose not to come and they'll choose to stay at home. Hobbycraft's chief executive, Dominic Jordan, said the following: our resolute focus on the strategy will see us bring further product innovation and inspiration, a new approach to online demonstrations and workshops, new stores, and further investment in our e-commerce platform to support future growth. As ever, these plans are underpinned by a focus on great customer service and colleague engagement. Let's move on to the next point. Over to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Hana. So the next key success factor is about being technically robust. So obviously, we've seen digital has become much more important over the last 6 months than it ever was before, largely because that has become a de facto distribution channel for a lot of brands and retailers. But also think about vendors. Are you using digital to offer self-service options to your customers? Can they interact with you as well as they need to when they are socially distanced, when it is online? So this isn't just about, this is about how we can serve our customers wherever those customers might be. So digital is much more important now because you think about decreased dwell time in stores. When stores are open, people aren't spending as much time in them, and we have seen that. That will change once people get more confident and when a vaccine is in place. But right now, digital needs to take up the slack. And online channels have to be able to handle dramatic spikes in demand. And I've read that people are expecting Christmas online to be 30% up on last year. And that's a massive spike that we could see, a lot more traffic, and really ensuring that your ecosystem can deliver the customer experience that you want is crucial. And then that omnichannel proposition does need to be seamless. And that's about empowering your customer service team to have a single customer view. And it's not easy to achieve, it's expensive to put in, but it doesn't have to be something that takes years and years to put in place. The tools are even easier now to really make that change.
So anyone who's been to Iceland has probably visited the Blue Lagoon. I certainly have, actually, on my first visit. They are one of the Iceland's most popular attractions. Some interesting things about them: they were founded in 1992 to utilize the benefits of the local geothermal seawater. The Blue Lagoon was named one of the 25 wonders of the world by National Geographic in 2012. And in 2018, the Blue Lagoon opened the Retreat, which is a luxury spa resort where guests can relax, be pampered in a luxury all year round. So as the Blue Lagoon kept expanding their operations, they quickly realized that they had outgrown their software setup. They took advantage of the forced closure caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to implement LS Central. This way, they managed to meet their goal of implementing the new solution in record time, actually, and just in time for the reopening of the spa and resort for guests. So let's maybe play a video to hear more about their story.
My name is Þórey Guðmundsdóttir and I am the Chief Financial and Information Officer at the Blue Lagoon. The Blue Lagoon is one of Iceland's most popular attractions and best known for its spa facilities. We though also have 2 hotels, 4 restaurants and 3 retail stores and an online store, where we sell our skincare line created from the bioactive elements of the geothermal seawater. The Retreat was opened in 2018 and is a luxury spa resort where we can offer our guests an extraordinary experience all year round. The Blue Lagoon is a place where nature, design and science brings forth a world of wonder and wellness. We have outgrown our current solution and needed to invest in future growth. We needed a holistic solution for our operations. That is why we decided on LS Central and Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. This provided us with one unified solution, covering retail, restaurant, hotel, activities and member management, and it does not require us to do any integration. The current world situation has helped us to meet our goal to implement our new solution in record time. Our strategy is to fully utilize the standard functionality of new development from LS Retail. It will help us with future growth and to streamline our core processes. Implementing the latest technology from Microsoft and LS Retail will enable us to upgrade our system frequently with minimum effort. In our opinion, this is the greatest value created by this project.
Great, thanks. So the third key success factor that we have looked at is about being values driven. This should come as a surprise to no one. This has been a trend that has been happening in the background, but has very much accelerated in the last 6 months. And what that is saying that brands need to really demonstrate, they have to communicate and demonstrate what their values are. And what that means is how they treat their employees, how they treat their customers, what they stand for as a brand. This applies as well to service providers and vendors. There's a lot of scrutiny being taken by consumers and everybody in the value chain to say, who is it that we're dealing with? Who are we spending our money with? What do they stand for? And how do they treat people? So if you're a service provider and you think that being values driven is really only for customer facing brands, I would say that that's not the case. It is really about saying, what do we stand for and how do we clearly communicate and demonstrate that? And that is, we've seen, do you support your customers on changing payment terms or on working with them for bespoke solutions to get them through specific periods of time when they're not trading? We've gone through the initial phase of this with lockdown, but looking ahead at where there are going to be local lockdowns, and this may happen in more specific regional way across Europe and in the UK, certainly, it requires kind of a more agile mindset. So think about your values and how they're clearly communicated.
So I have a great luxury makeup and skincare retailer to tell you about, and it is Space NK. You see the logo on the screen. So they've come a long way since their humble inception in the early 90s. They were actually launched in 1993 by Nicki Kinart, the retailer that is known for supporting niche branded cosmetics. The company saw a boost in sales last year that has increased in revenue over £108.9 million. So that's quite impressive. Their in-store and online customers will find a lonely own edit of the most innovative products in the beauty world, including supercharged skincare, cutting-edge cosmetics, and game-changing gadgets. They have various brands, actually over 70 brands. These include, for example, Yves L'Homme, Laura Mercier, NARS, and some others. Space NK had also a clear focus for a new system to accelerate their digital transformation and keep the personalized quality of service they've been known for. So they wanted to establish a common platform that could deliver the transformation and insight their global retail and wholesale operations needed to be a 21st century leader in their field. They have always put their clients at the center of everything they do, and they wanted them to be in the driving seat when it came to their shopping experience. So whether it's online, in-store, mobile, or human-to-human, the Dynamics platform that was implemented by LS Retail's partner, the NAV people, has enabled the company to develop a state-of-the-art digital experience. With tools to deliver a modern omni-channel model, their customers can now look forward to a greatly improved buying journey. So furthermore, clients have the option to purchase products via the website, on any device, or in person at the store, and then choose to deliver option that is most convenient to them, whether it's delivered to a fixed address or click and collect. The endless aisle approach means that both their B2B and consumer customers will always be able to get the products they want, when they want them, and how they want them. So powered by a multifunctional modernization platform that supports global space, global reach, the Space NK e-commerce business continues to go from strength to strength, with the company shipping orders to over 56 countries around the world. Clients can enjoy the Space NK experience regardless of how they shop and where they live.
So the fourth is about being safe and trusted. And again, who would have thought that this would rank so highly a year ago, but here we are. And that is that it needs to be your hygiene processes and everything that you're doing as a brand, as a service provider, to keep both your employees and your customers safe needs to be telegraphed. People are looking these things up. What I mean by that is people are looking on websites before they go out to see what measures people are taking in the store to ensure their safety, both the safety of their people on the store floor or serving the experience, as well as customers when they go in. Is it about, are they masking up? Are they adhering to those? Do they have social distancing in place in the store or in the venue? Are they adhering to that and taking it seriously? And these are the standards that consumers are holding brands and service providers to. And then it's also about saying, how do you ensure fair treatment of the diverse community groups? And this would be giving priority to healthcare workers and to carers, as well as to more vulnerable user groups. And those are particular elements that are incredibly important to consumers today.
Excellent. So I have a nice example here that I think really clearly illustrates safety and trust with McKesson Pharmacy. So McKesson is a leading healthcare company, for those who may not be from the UK, for wholesale medical supplies and equipment. They're a pharmaceutical distribution and healthcare technology solution company. Both Lloyd's Pharmacy and AAH Pharmaceuticals form part of McKesson UK, and this brings the expertise in healthcare logistics, pharmacy dispensing, healthcare services to many, many hospitals and community, over 14,000 across the UK. So according to Nord Gemma, a pharmacy manager at Lloyd's Pharmacy, their new LS Pharmacy solution from LS Retail represents a paradigm shift in their entire dispensing practice. And this means that both stock and dispensing is more accurate and efficient. As they are dispensing, they are scanning the stock with built-in safety checks designed to identify when incorrect products have been selected. This also provides their pharmacists with a greater degree of accuracy checks in dispensing the right stock. There is a workflow that is built in a system that leads the pharmacist through predefined dispensing steps that consist of selecting and picking stock, processing the prescription, scanning out the stock, and conducting a pharmacy check. Since the system was put in place, the number of near misses or incorrect prescriptions have been reduced to virtually zero. And that's really amazing. Nord Gemma further states that unnecessary tasks are eliminated with key activities being automated. Accuracy and efficiency ultimately led to a greater degree of safety in servicing our customers and consequently increase the trust we have with our customers. So I think that's a really amazing story for safety and trust. Now we go to our last point on sustainability. Over to you, Gabrielle.
Being sustainable, again, we've heard an awful lot about it. We see it happening, and again, consumers are holding brands, retailers, and service providers to a higher standard now. It is about saying what part of our supply chain, what part of our value proposition and the experience is sustainable. And we're seeing people, particularly Gen Z, are making buying decisions based on who gives them the best sustainable experience, who is investing in making sure their supply chain has the least carbon offsets, or whether the single-use plastics are forbidden, how much they incorporate recycled products into their product delivery itself. And these organic certifications are getting much more play. And we see brands like Nkuku, which is a homewares cataloger, BAM, which is bamboo clothing, which is a sustainable clothing fiber. And these are UK-based brands, and clearly Whole Foods, which is a global brand, which is all about that. It's about the supply chain and saying we want to make choices that are more ethically sustainable, and that we believe in that. And sometimes these things come at a premium, a price premium that we're finding more people are willing to pay.
Yeah, indeed. Sustainability can really be seen in many various areas, in restaurants, in packaging, in fashion, but also in software, which is interesting. Sustainable software enables you to deliver changes to the customer more quickly with a lower likelihood of bugs, for example, a decrease of the total cost of ownership of applications, and increased business agility. LS Retail's hospitality solutions include a powerful waste management function that can help you manage your stock efficiently and minimize your waste. You can maintain tight control over your inventory, use your products optimally, and also take timely actions to adjust your stock so that you can secure satisfactory margin levels on your menu items. I have one example. You see a logo from On Running. I'm a runner. Maybe some of you here are as well. So about a month ago, On Running, a well-known Swiss running shoe manufacturer, came out with a shoe made of beans. And they also came out with an interesting headline that basically said, "This is Cyclone, and this is the running shoe you will never own." And they further on say that these shoes are actually 100% recyclable and only available via a subscription service. The OWN co-founder, Oliver Bernard, said that we want to reach circularity, a super league of sustainability. Today, as OWN said, a linear model exists for most products, and that means make, use, dispose. When products have a one-way ticket to become waste, that results in harmful effect on our planet. The Cyclone running shoe can be recycled as part of an infinite circular system. And with being able to use 100% of the used shoe as a raw material, a sustainable circle is achieved. I think this is just amazing story, what this company is trying to do. So I'm fully supportive, and I'm definitely becoming one of their customers for their subscription service.
That's
so
great.
Over to you, Gabrielle, for the 10 points.
Thanks. It just on the ON, they hit on several of the things we talked about today. So sustainability clearly is one of them. Being values driven, absolutely, and then also agility and being able to come out with and pivot to a business model, a subscription business model that they may not have thought about previously. So they are an interesting brand for sure. So 10 quick steps to run through that can put you on the front foot instead of the back foot when you think about heading into a winter of COVID permeated buying environment. So the first step to take is plan multiple scenarios. That we know it's happened once, and it's already happening with wave 2. There may be a wave 3, and now you should know enough about how both your brand as well as your customers are approaching it and what they're expecting from you. So keep planning all different kinds of scenarios. It will never be wasted time. The second point is to hire smarter and pay more for employees who can quickly adapt their skills to whatever pivots you need to make along the way. They are, it's a challenge, and I know keeping employees engaged right now is a challenge, but place a premium on people whose both attitude and skill set can bring much more than a very narrowly defined job description. The third step is to look at the in-house skill set and your in-house tech infrastructure, and then fill those gaps quickly, whether it is with people from other parts of the business or backfilling on a temporary basis. The fourth is to make tech a priority investment. I know we would say that we are a tech provider, but as we've seen, a tech infrastructure needs to support every single part of the business, and making that a priority investment has never been more important. Fifth, define and communicate your values to everyone, and that is everyone who comes in contact with your business, not only your consumers, but suppliers, employees, and your shareholders. The next 6, ensure that those values that you've defined are upheld, because make sure that it's not just lip service. People have to see that they're being lived and breathed in action, and that's just, you can videotape how they're being used and how employees and customers are living and breathing those. 7, Communicate with your customers about the hygiene processes you've put in place. And that is to answer the question of how are we keeping our employees safe and how are we keeping you, the customer, safe? 8, make sure that those hygiene processes are operational on the ground. Again, they're not worth anything if people don't have any trust that they're actually being followed. And that is really empower people on the store floor to enforce mask policy and make sure that customers know that staff is being supported at the very top level to make this happen. Review your supply chain and identify sustainable substitutes where possible. This is an ongoing exercise. It's not easy, but it is something that is definitely worth your time. And finally, when it's not possible to swap out sustainable elements right away, think about investing in carbon offsets. It's a cheap and cheerful way, but to buy some time to get your proper processes in place. Well, and this is just to say that now's the time. Now is absolutely the time to step back, break it apart, put it back together, and see what's left standing. And that's saying that radical rethinks. This is not the time for incremental. This is all about radical.
So here we are, heading towards the end of the session. We truly hope that you enjoyed it. We discussed the top actions for retailers to take now for post-COVID success and how LS Retail can support retailers in these challenging times. So for those of you who may not know us, LS Retail is a world-leading provider of unified software solutions for retail, for hospitality, and forecourt companies of all sizes. We are also a global ISV for Microsoft Dynamics, and our solutions are available for trial on Microsoft's AppSource. We have been in this business for over 2 decades. We've been supporting our customers and constantly evolving at the speed of change. So I hope that this session has provided you with some new insights on how you can take advantage of our holistic solutions. Of course, we at LS Retail are ready to help you to navigate through the retail industry transformation in these challenging times. We are here to help you make your business easy. So thank you very much for your time. Feel free to contact us for further questions or discussions that you may be looking for. You can, of course, find us on Microsoft's AppSource. You can also visit our website at www.lsretail.com. You can finally reach me and Gabrielle at the provided LinkedIn and email contact details that you see on the screen. Obviously, this webinar is recorded. If there are any questions you may have post-webinar, we have provided our contact details, so please feel free to reach us. Otherwise, I would like to conclude and wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Hana. Thanks, everyone.